So it's hard to look back over one's whole career and try to pick out like what are the best moments, but certainly a lot of my most fondest moments, memories have been things you do with students. So outing club trips. Some of those early days of the outing club with students teaching me how to kayak or how to rock climb, and then I turning around and teaching other people those skills. We learned a lot together, and those were really fond memories. You think about teams you coached, and not just the teams that won championships. Oh, those were very special moments. You just think about all the contests you went into. It's like us against them. It's really those memories stay with you for a long time. I look back over my career, and the things I'm probably most proud of, introducing statistics into the math curriculum. And it started at one department meeting where I raised my hand and said, I'm bothered by the fact that my students know how to graph an ellipse, but they don't know what a standard deviation is. That seems wrong. And so I proposed that we overhaul the math curriculum. And then I guess I'm also happy with the recent development of sort of the math club and how students have done really well and taken off on math contests, and how we do a better job of promoting that. If I look back over my career, obviously my job was to teach math. But I think about all those other things that happened along the way, and I have a much deeper appreciation of that. How the outing club started, I was my first year of teaching, and a couple senior boys came up to me and they said, do you like to hike? And I said, yeah, I've hiked a couple of times, but I really didn't have a lot of experience. And they said, great, we want you to be the advisor of the outing club. And I said, what does that mean? And they said, we'll show you. So they helped me plan the first couple of hikes, which were wildly popular. We had 17 people on our very first hike, which was an overnight, if you can imagine that. So there were a lot of logistics involved, but it was fun. And they were the ones who said, let's climb Mount Washington in the winter. And I said, what does that involve? And they said, we'll research it. And we rented crampons and ice axes and sort of read books to figure out how to use them safely. And yeah, we did it. And it's just really grown a lot since there. Everyone seems so talented, energetic, so happy, successful. And yet Williamson goes on to say, it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. I feel like I've been very privileged to be able to, give advice at the beginning of each school year. And if I had to, try to summarize what that would be, I guess the most consistent message is to students to not be afraid, to let their light shine, to not hide who they are. And yet Williamson goes on to say, it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. What she is saying is that we are all of us meant to shine, that we all have this light, this power beyond measure within us. I've also talked about starfish, where, you might be overwhelmed by the majority of problems in the world, but if you can just save one starfish by tossing it back into the ocean, you made a difference. And that difference may seem small, but not to that starfish it doesn't. I talked a little bit about in the metaphor one year that I had a bunch of pencils, and I said, see if you can break these pencils, and there was a pack of like 20 of them, and so the student was like trying to break them. Well, you can't, but then you take them one by one and break them, and it's very easy. And the message there, the metaphor, is that we're stronger together than we are individually, that collectively we can accomplish a lot more than you can just by one-on-one. I talked a little bit about a sailing metaphor where, things happen to you. Well, that's the wind. And You know, you can't change the wind, but what you can do is you can react to the situation by adjusting your sails. And that it's really the set of your sails and not the gales that determine which way you go. But probably the most important message I kept on saying has to deal with the school motto, Spe Sibi Quisque, which means, you know, each person finds hope within themselves. Well, I've always quibbled with that because I believe that you don't really start believing in yourself until somebody else, a mentor, a teacher, a friend, has expressed belief in you first. And that basically that's what happens during adolescence, that basically if you're supported by a welcoming community, that you learn to trust yourself and you become more self-reliant. People say, what are you going to miss the most? And I love teaching. I love being in the room. I love taking kids on a journey. I love doing the outing club. I'm going to miss all of those things, but I'm going to really miss the people. The kids here are extraordinary. They're extraordinarily kind, they're talented, they're trying their best, and they're very, very thoughtful kids. And my colleagues, I just can't imagine a better community. So I've learned so much from the people at this place. I would make the claim, and this is going to sound hyperbolic, but it's not, that this school has had more effect in shaping who I am than anything else in my life. I think that I was probably a very unfinished piece of clay when I came here, and this school has taught me so much, and I've grown so much that, you know, most of who I've become has been shaped by this community. Tell me, what are you going to do with this one wild and precious life? So, tell me, what are you going to do with this one wild and precious school year? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure, and yet we are afraid to find out how much more we can be